Hello and welcome to the Twilight-Zone. Now sit back and imagine you are watching a movie about a mad scientist, played most likely by that horror movie veteran Vincent-Price. He lives in a great big Gothic mansion where he has a laboratory in the basement. In his spare time, in between performing diabolical experiments in his laboratory, the mad scientist likes to play music on the organ, which rises from beneath the floor like a ghost from hell. And this is what you hear. That piece of horror music was written 300 years ago by the composer who is at number 3 in the list of the 10 greatest composers ever, namely Johann Sebastian Bach. Now, in some ways, I would have preferred to have put Joseph Haydn at number 3, because I think Haydn was a more important composer in the way he extended musical language and expression. But I have to concede that Bach has a larger catalogue of music that has remained popular across the centuries. Unfortunately, size does count, at least sometimes. Although I prefer to think that it's what you do with your music and how you use it that is more important, rather than the size of your catalogue. But I know that if I put Bach below Haydn, I'd have the Bach fans screaming their heads off. It gets so tiresome. Everyone has a different person they think should be number 1. The only difference is I'm right and they are wrong. Some poor misguided fellow even wrote to me to tell me that if Frank Zappa was not number 1 on my list, he would hunt me down and cut off my catalogue. But I have to confess that Bach did write many wonderful pieces of music. Among my personal favorites is Sheep Shall Safely Graze. Another one that everybody knows and likes is Air on a G-string. And please, let's not have any jokes about G-strings and strippers. Anyway, here it is. There are many other wonderful pieces of music by Bach, some of which I will be stringing together in my video on Bach's greatest hits. My reservations about Bach are similar to the ones that I had about Handel. Did you see that video? And were you paying attention? For those of you with attention deficit disorder, Here is a reprise of what I said. He will take you anywhere you want to go, but only if it is on one of the road maps. Now, some of those roads on his maps will take you through some very beautiful scenery, but where he differs from the top two composers is that he is reluctant to deviate from the map or to leave the road. Those sentiments also hold true for Bach to a certain degree, although perhaps Bach expressed a slightly wider range of emotions and visual images in his music. But he had this tendency on occasions to run up and down the scales like a demented ferret trapped on a stairwell. This is most evident in his Brandenburg concertos. In spite of my flippant criticisms, the Brandenburg concertos are, in fact, a wonderful body of work. Now, people have said that without Bach there would be no rock and roll music or the kind of popular music that we know today, because the progressions and structures of modern popular music can be traced directly back to him. But as I pointed out in a previous video, Vivaldi got there first. And maybe Bach, being a God-fearing family man, would not really want to take credit for modern pop music anyway, particularly when it comes to performers like Marilyn-Manson. But even such performers as Marilyn-Manson have been influenced either directly or indirectly by Bach, whose music is, after all, more widely known than that of Vivaldi. Among the most loved pieces of Bach's music is Sleepers Awake. Only 2 more composers to go on the list of the 10 greatest composers ever. Now, I'm sure many of you will have guessed who the top 2 contenders are, but who will be number 1? While I leave you with that question, here is some more background on Bach, plus some more personal music.